bit of an exhaust blow. Dipstick comes out, knuckles get smashed a bit, split all the way around there, I can feel it on fingers. Obviously 2 turbos, require 2 oil feeds. I'm going to attempt this. This thing's heavy. It's got to be the craziest turbo out there. Look at that. I'm going to weld this braided flexi back in its place. Another day and another video, back on Project Compo. I took it over to Bump to get it MOT'd, and I don't know how I'd missed this last time, but it's got a really bad exhaust leak. I'll fire it up and I'll show you guys. It's actually coming from the bellow on the wastegate. Goes down and goes back into the downpipe. It's actually split all the way around there. I can feel it on my fingers. I can feel the exhaust blowing out. So, before it gets too hot. That's a bit of a pain because it's buried, and I think I'm going to have to take off the turbos, the wastegate, the downpipe, the screamer pipe. I think I might have to take out the water pipe, the radiator to get the turbo off, and I'll take the exhaust manifold off. So I can put it on my spare head and mock it all up. I'm going to cut that out, that stainless steel bellowed flexi, and I'm just going to put a braided one in because I'm not convinced about these bellow ones anymore. I think they're a little bit fragile, and if Baytech uses the braided ones, I'll be using the braided ones. Angley's under covers. Just still buying bits for that, so there'll be an update on that soon. Let's get this all apart and we can crack on with getting that sorted so we can start using it for the summer. Yeah, first things first, let's strip this down and repair the massive exhaust leak. Old Fords, if they're not leaking oil, they usually got exhaust leaks or rust. Right, let's get to this split flexi. First off, whip the breather off, and I'm going to pop my handy, I don't even know if there's a go on this thing, the heat shield, just about. Kinsey Motorsport used to make these back in the day. I think I got this off Martin with a load of other cool bits from his blue Fiesta. So, plan is, take the turbos off, take the manifold off, take the downpipe off, and the wastegate with the screamer that I've actually plumbed into the downpipe again. Take that all off as one assembly. I'm going to put it on my mock-up head, chop out the bellows, and then weld in a new flexi, which I have bought. Yeah, swap it out with one of these, because I think these are a little bit more resilient to vibrations and heat than the bellowed stainless ones, although they look a lot cooler, but here we are. So first things first, I think we'll take the oil lines off. Obviously 2 turbos, require 2 oil feeds. One for the little turbo. Snip the old internal gate vacuum line off of it. Whip the air filter off, get out of the way. This setup is jokes, but it isn't half compact and awkward to work on. There's a bracket here that goes down to a brace that mounts onto the gearbox, so I'll whip that off without untying it from the car. Yeah, I thought I'd do like a Rob Dahm GoPro straps on my belly button view for you guys. Try and get this thing pulled apart and fixed. Just swing that out of the way. A GoPro mount for the turbo noises. Oh yeah. Let's get rid of that blue hose, it really annoys me. That'll come out the whole block. There, look, it's completely sheared. Oof. Oil drains next. So I've got 2 oil drains, obviously, 2 turbos. These are a bit of a fiddle to get to. Whip this oil drain off, a high pressure little turbo. So this little one's like a K16, which is the size of like I think it's like a T25, and the big one is a K26, 27 hybrid Borg Warner. That's about the size of a GT30, and we're feeding a big turbo, low pressure turbo, into the little turbo to compound the boost, to make things really complicated. I should probably add that this setup is also designed to give you a really good power band. So obviously the smaller turbo will kick in sooner, minimalising lag, and then the internal gate actually opens up and feeds the bigger turbo, which then kind of takes over at the top end. Here you see all the boost pipes I had to fabricate. Again, learning to TIG weld aluminium on these bits, loads of pie cuts, loads of practice. Next we take the boost pipe off that goes through the bulkhead and into the charge cooler, and that comes off the high pressure turbo down the back here. As you can see, it's really easy to get to. Right, next up, I'm going to try and take off the downpipe bolts. These are all usually welded on from the heat. Right, I've got to get to that V-band that's buried down there. There's a bolt or nut holding that on. I've got to get up over the cradle. So from what I remember, the easiest way, I've got to take the splitter off. Front splitter's off. Looks weird without a front splitter on. Now I'm going to try and get under there and undo that awkward downpipe V-band. Here's the plan. You can see my super duper rose jointed custom car front suspension, 6-speed gearbox, and the homemade custom gearbox bearer to run a 6-speed gearbox. There you go, you see all the holes in it. 6-speed gearbox on a 1.1 cradle with the zoo speed cradle spacers and adjusters to get it in the right place. All the toys. I'm going to just take this brace off completely because I need to get to these bolts and they're a pain in the ass. Got to fish the bolts out that you drop. Booyah. A lot of people ask me about the coating. It does work. I don't think it's as good as like the thermomet stuff, you know, where they spot weld lots of perforated stainless with like a wadding between it. I've seen really, really good results of that. Obviously, if you've got a cast exhaust housing like this, it is still porous, so this has obviously started to rust back through. This has lasted quite well, though I've not really used it a great deal, but it does soak up any oil, so any grubby fingerprints is going to tarnish it. I've kind of just accepted that it's going to be what it's going to be. If it gets grubby, there's not a lot I can do about it. It's just going to look like an old Tonka touring car exhaust manifold by the end of it all. But yeah, if I was to do it again, I think I'd look towards doing the like the thermomet stuff. But this stuff does work. It looks cool as well when it's brand new and white and fresh. Oh, I've got blood on it there. Brilliant. That'll burn off. So those of you who remember this car, started out as a little crossflow, very little crossflow with 40s on it, twin 40 Webers on it. And then I went and bought a Z-Tech engine off of Stu, my mate. And then we put a M45 supercharger on it, and wanting more power, I got this engine, which is an Area 6 forged Z-Tech silver top, and I went about building up another bracket and pipe work to run an M90 supercharger. The M45 I first fitted was just off of an SLK Merc, and the M90 supercharger was off a XJR Jag 3 litre straight 6 thing. So I think we made only like 160 horsepower on the M45. We must have been knocking on the door of 250 with the M90. We put a tiny pulley on the supercharger, a little modular thing, and an overdrive crank pulley on the engine to overspin the blower. And we were seeing like 18 PSI out of it. It was wicked. And then always wanting to complicate things, these turned up on eBay. I think Compressor Racing was selling them, and they're off an MAN truck, and they looked like they were well suited for a 2-litre petrol engine. And I was just like, I sent the link to Zach, and he was like, if you don't buy them, I'm going to buy them. And I was like, I've already bought them. And then when they turned up, I then realised that I had to actually squeeze them into this really tiny engine bay. But as you can see, it is all in there. It's just a nightmare to work on. It was definitely a labour of love, and there's a lot of engineering and problem solving gone into getting this all in here. It's like working on a modern car. I'm trying to work out if I can take, because getting to these bolts on the back of on the downpipe are a right pig. That one's fallen out. I've got 2 of them out. Well, one's fallen out. I've got 1 out. There's 2 left in there. Still got the oil drain down there that I can't get to because it's massive and you can't get a big spanner on it easily and spin it off. So I don't know whether I can. I'm going to attempt this. This thing's heavy, as you can imagine. What it is. I'll get this bolt out. Okay, so I've got to take the downpipe off. That's now off. The turbo's all loose. The only thing that's holding it on is that oil return, which is massive, as you can see. I don't know what that is, dash 400. So I can get in there with a big spanner. Just need to crack it off. Oh, so everything's in the way. Boom. Oh, she's a beast. It's got to be the craziest turbo out there. Look at that. So yeah, basically, as I said before, K2627 hybrid. They both share the same exhaust housing. So this is like a, imagine like a T25, and the exhaust comes out and through and feeds the big one. This is a T25 flange, 2 cores, 2 sets of bearings, 2 oil feeds, 2 oil returns. I've welded these on. These are like from the Dark Side Developments cast outlets. Did a bit of porting on the inlet because it was all squared off. Gave it a little freshen up. Right, look how much space there is. Get the downpipe out. Look at that. That's your problem, boy. Got a bit of an exhaust blow. Yeah, welded all this up. Laser cut the flanges at work. Pie cuts everywhere. You can't even see all the pie cuts on the boost pipes I did. Down the back there. There's your 6-speed ST170 gearbox. Got Quafe LSD in it. Or is it the ATB job in it? My gun drilled elite super duper drive shafts are down there somewhere. Alright, I'm going to take this off next. But first things first, I do want to offer up a couple of bits I got laying around. If I ever wanted to really simplify this and probably make more power, I've got a Disco Potato GTX 28. Just bang that on there. Downpipe down the back under the inlet. That's my backup plan when this all explodes. Right, next up, I'll whip the exhaust manifold off. This is also just as equally as awkward to take off because you can't get to half the bolts and you're into like tiny little turns. I'll whip the heat shield out and then I can get to a few more of the bolts up top. This is just a little bent bit of stainless I made up, trying to save the rocker cover. Dipstick comes out, knuckles get smashed to bits, and then the exhaust manifold slides off the studs. It gets caught on the radiator in the head, and that comes out of the way. Boom. I made this exhaust manifold myself when I was learning how to TIG. Not too bad. There was a video where me and Zach I had a horrible cone in here, and we made a much nicer looking collector just to tidy it up, and then I got it ceramic coated. There's loads of space there now. Tell you what I will do, just going to offer something up. What do you reckon? M62 fed by GTX 28. That'd be interesting. I'd obviously get rid of the clutch pulley, go tiny pulley on that. I'd have to mount this down there, move the radiator into the boot. Oh, so I'm going to do. I'll put the charge cooler back in this space then, not in the footwell. So you don't have boost pipes in the car. I wonder what that would run like. Be pretty crazy. So many ideas, no time, no money. So with the old bellow cut out of the way, I'm going to weld this braided flexi back in its place. And it's time to dig out the TIG welder. I bought a MIG welder, that's brand new, that's never been opened. I will get onto that when I start welding up the Anglia. But this is Zach's old TIG welder. I don't know how many years ago I bought this off him, but it's time to dig it out of the box. Obviously all Artec stuff, best of the best. So yeah, let's get this out of the box, fire her up and go blob it in. Right, with this all welded up, it's time to put all that lot back in here. So, 3, 2, 1. Right, there you go. All back up and running like a champ. Only an exhaust blow is out the side down here, out the boot tube. So I think be rude not to take it out around the block. I might try and put the new little microphones that I've got, one in the inlet of the turbo and one down by the side exit, so you can hear the glorious sounds that this car makes. Sounds like an Imsa Quattro when the turbo comes on song and chatters. Yeah, so let's go for a little test drive around the block. Always great to take it for a little rip round the block. You'd have seen it, it doesn't get up on the big turbo at all. That was all the little turbo chewing away. The eagle-eyed viewers would have noticed that I've taken off the orange, red and yellow stripes. I don't know why, I just figured I wanted to mix it up a bit, make it a little bit more subtle, if that's possible with a car like this. But obviously taking the stickers off, I've managed to rip some of the paint off in the process. So I had to dash that in with a rattle can quickly, clean it up, and then I got my boys over at my old work at Camberley Signs to print me up some wicked new hockey stripes, a little bit more subtle, gone for the 3 greys against the beige. The new wheel combo that I'm putting together is going to really sort of set this off, I think. Stuck these on, trimmed them back. Whilst doing that, I had some top tint vinyls that I printed years ago with the Zoo Speed logo in them, and I banged these on, thinking that it would look a lot better than the black Sunstrip. However, yeah, I wasn't happy with the top tint. It was way too scratchy and the clear bit looked a bit odd, so I've peeled it all off and I've opted for just a good old-fashioned black Sunstrip back on there. Not too sure what to put on there. If anyone wants to sponsor me, quite happily put your logo up there. 1-inch performance or something, like the old school Sunstrips we used to do back in the day. That looks a bit better. Yeah, so that's it. That's how to fix your snapped wastegate pipe on your compound turbo 2-litre Z-Tech Mark 1 Fiesta. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we've got a lot more developments on this car to give you a little insight. We've got the new Sticky Boy tyres to go on, the new wheels with the modifications to the centres, and maybe some homemade turbo fans along the way. Getting this prepped ready for some more track days, I think. I am contemplating taking the side exit off it and putting an exhaust pipe back out the back just for noise reasons. Not something I really want to do, but a few of the tracks in the UK are quite strict. And yeah, if we get some better tyres on it, sort the geometry out a bit, and then yeah, we can start getting some track days in. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe. Obviously we're going to have some good updates on the Anglia coming up soon. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So until next time, I'll catch up with you guys later. Take it easy.